Hi, and welcome to the 2021 Scleroderma Foundation Tri-State Chapter's virtual walk event. I'm Mark Krieger, Board President of the Tri-State Chapter and Chair of the Richfield Park Walk. I'm also someone who has scleroderma, having been diagnosed over 28 years ago. While this is our second virtual walk, we don't want to call it an annual virtual event. We hope that it will be safe to return to a true in-person walk event next year, like it has been since 2002, when we had our first walk right here in New Jersey at Overpeck Park. Over the years, we have expanded our walks to the tri-state, and we now have 11 walk events each June. If you aren't a walk volunteer this year, perhaps you will consider becoming one next year at a walk near you. The Tri-State Chapter is celebrating its 40th year serving the scleroderma community. So much progress has been made in research, knowledge, and treatment during that time. The Scleroderma Foundation and the Tri-State Chapter have made significant contributions fueled by your generosity. Since 2012, the Tri-State Chapter has given $515,000 to the National Foundation's peer-reviewed research grant program. Even last year, when COVID-19 forced us to cancel our traditional walk events, the Tri-State Chapter was able to provide an additional $50,000 over our annual commitment to the Foundation's research efforts. But it all relies on your continued support. We are always looking for new and better ways to educate healthcare professionals, patients, caregivers, the public, and our government officials. These efforts have changed dramatically in just a few years with the explosion of social media and the internet. All these innovations require new investment in technology and manpower. With just a very small staff, dedicated board members, and volunteers, the Tri-State Chapter is the largest chapter associated with the Scleroderma Foundation and is an influencer across the US and Canada. I hope you will enjoy this virtual walk event, but most importantly, please be as generous as you can by either making a donation directly or through a team. For more information on creating or joining a team, you can go to steppingoutwalk.org. That's steppingoutwalk.org. Or call Candace Snyder, our new executive director, at 607-723-2239. That's 607-723-2239. And thank you.
Thank you, Mark. As Mark mentioned, he represents the Richfield Park Walk. So if you would like to donate to his team, Team Krieger, or any of the participants in today's event, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and select on the walk location you would like to support. Today's event is jam-packed full of appearances from all over the Tri-State Scleroderma community, including special guests, Dr. Lee Shapiro and Dr. Kimberly Showalter. During the event, feel free to comment on our live feed. We would love to know that you're here. And also don't forget about sharing the live video with your family and friends and get them to watch it with you. It's a great way to help spread scleroderma awareness. Now in the chat, you will see details on how you can get involved. And if you would like to donate or pledge towards today's event, you can also call our office at 800-867-0885 and our staff will assist you. We are so very pleased to have such a great group of walkers and participants that are raising awareness in their immediate community. The challenge we have faced within this past year and a half has not wavered the walkers and everybody involved to reach for a cure. With our traditional walks, we have a tendency of starting off with some good music. So please, without further ado, please welcome Cinnamon Jones as she sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the starlight's last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous side? For the rampart we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets blazed glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say that there the the star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and of the free and the home of the brave. God bless.
I'm Dr. Lee Shapiro, and I've been learning from and treating individuals with scleroderma for more than 40 years. That has been long enough to see remarkable advances in treatments of some aspects of the disease, but you and I know we aren't doing nearly enough. The cure is not yet in sight. COVID vaccinations came quickly with a warp speed because this problem confronted everyone, everywhere. The government acted rapidly and generously funded research. More than 30 million people in this country have diabetes. Like scleroderma, a disease that can have impact on many organs. 30 million people can make a lot of noise. Everyone has heard of diabetes. In the US, at most 300,000 individuals have scleroderma. We are a much smaller group. Most people have not heard of scleroderma. We need to raise our voices or our needs won't be heard, and if not heard, certainly not met. The unresolved questions of scleroderma should be capturing the interest and attention of more of the talented researchers in this country and worldwide. We must make sure that researchers in the biology of blood vessels, in fibrosis, and in autoimmunity know about scleroderma and know about the unmet needs. We must find and we must motivate these researchers. They must hear your stories because your stories are powerful. We must make sure there are funds to support research. Funds, not just from individuals like you, though that certainly is important to help us get launched, but from those with truly deep pockets as well, like the government, the health industry, and foundations dedicated to promoting health research. They too must hear your stories and know how scleroderma impacts those who have it and impacts those who love those who have it. The Scleroderma Foundation will spread the word of our unmet needs, but we need your voice as part of the chorus. You are here, and that is a great start. With your friends and families marching with us, we are suddenly a much larger group with a louder voice. Recruit them. Don't hold back.
Thank you, Dr. Shapiro. Our voices stand strong together. The more people that hear about scleroderma and the more we can impact our scleroderma community. Over the course of today's event, we'll be hearing from our Stepping Out teams as they share how they got involved and what they have done this year to spread scleroderma awareness. One team, in memory of Viola Zenzow, led by their captain, June Bender, has taken a new direction to engage their community. June serves as part of the Albany Walk Committee and has served as part of the Tri-State Chapter staff, as well as part of the Tri-State Chapter board. So let us welcome June Bender. June, please.
In 1993, I was diagnosed with scleroderma, and my rheumatologist at that point asked me to attend the Capital District Scleroderma Support Group, and I did not want to do that. My mother had also had scleroderma, and I realized all that she had experienced, and so I was very frightened, and it was not an easy time in my life. And so about 2 years later, I finally decided to give in and to attend a meeting. Well, I was shocked to go into that meeting. It was very informative. Every month they had a speaker that provided information regarding emotional health, physical health, and also they discussed medications, all kinds of things and ways to relax. I realized in those first couple of years that I had scleroderma that I was under so much stress because of my thoughts about it, that I was actually complicating my scleroderma even worse, and that was not good. So they also taught me how to relax, and that was the best thing ever. And that seemed to slow down my scleroderma. And even my rheumatologist, Dr. Lee Shapiro, was very pleased that I had taken that step. A few years later, the leader we had retired, and they asked me if I would be willing to take over the group as leader, and I did. And so that was so wonderful. And I did leave that group for many, many years. A few years later, Rosemary Markoff, the director of Tri-State at the time, asked me if I would be willing to be employed by Tri-State as their director of patient education and support. I thought about it, prayed about it, and I said, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. And so I joined the Tri-State chapter, and I traveled between New York, Connecticut, and Northern New Jersey. And it meant everything to me. I met so many important people, and I don't mean important as far as important. I met people that were very important to me. And I met a lot of friends. And I also had an opportunity to share, to help educate, and to learn myself, which I needed to do. And so it was just a special time in my life.
Thank you for sharing, June. Now, last year, your team held an event called Voting for a Cure. Is your team planning on doing that again this year?
This year, yes, we are going to do Voting for a Cure again. And my family all comes up, and we select 2-person teams, and we use one of our paddle boats and one of our canoes to do that. And what happens is each 2-person team that goes out into the water, they have a course they have to follow, and they have to do it as in the less amount of time as possible. So it is a riot. We have kazoos we use. Every team that goes out, we play the theme from Rocky. I have balloons all over every beach chair on the beach. And we also have informational tables set up, and also we do raffles. And it's just a great day. We have a ball, and about in the middle of it, we take a break and we come in, and so everybody can cool off. And I do subs just like at the walk, and we do chips and beverages, and then we have cookies just like at the walk. And everybody just seems to really enjoy the whole thing. And then we go back out and do the second half of all the events. And then at the end of the day, everybody comes in, we all gather together in the house where it's cooler, and we announce who's the winner, and we give everybody all the times for all the teams. And then whatever 2 people have become the winners because they did everything in the less amount of time, they get an envelope with money in it, and they get to go over to an takeout ice cream place that's in town that everybody just loves. And they all get to have ice cream, and the team players that won, they get to treat everybody else. And then we draw prizes and different things like that. So it's just a special day. In fact, my family's after me, when are we going to do it? I just registered them all yesterday, and they're wondering when they're all going to come up to do it, because it's a great day. We have so much fun. Different people are filming things, and we cheer each other on. And we kid each other too, because we tell each other they're not very good teams, but they have a great time. So something we really have enjoyed doing.
That is great to hear. I love hearing how teams are coming together and creating events to help spread scleroderma awareness. Why do you think that awareness is so important in finding a cure?
To me, awareness is very important because, first of all, when we do our walks the Albany walk is usually in a mall, Crossgates Mall. And of course, so many people, it's just before the mall closes, we start setting up. And so many people are curious, what exactly is scleroderma? I mean, a lot of people can't even pronounce it. And so it's great to be able to tell people. And also, the day of the walk is just so special to me. I never realized until we had our very own. When you go into that walk, and you see all those people there to support people with scleroderma, it means so much. And to see the shirts that they wear and all the other logo that they wear from the Scleroderma Foundation makes such a difference. And I also know, I can remember years ago, a woman was so excited. She came to one of the support group meetings and she said, "You're not going to believe this. I was sitting in a doctor's office and I happened to have a bag with me that had the Scleroderma logo on it. And another woman asked me about it. And come to find out, after she explained what I explained what all scleroderma was, she said she actually thought she knew somebody that might have it. And so, you know what, we are making a difference just from just sharing our shirts, our hats, all the different things that we have that provide some kind of glimpse of scleroderma. It makes a difference. And I'm so glad we are doing all these things. I cannot believe how far the Tri-State Chapter has taken all the support for scleroderma. It makes a difference. And one of the things that's important to me that I always did, and I hope you don't mind, is I really am impressed with our mission statement. And I hope you don't mind if I read it to you, because this means a lot to me. I read it every meeting that I had, every support group meeting. I read it at every educational forum that I did. Whenever I went to somebody else's meetings in one of the other states, I always read it, because this kind of incorporates everything we are. We have a threefold mission, and it is to provide education and emotional support to people with scleroderma and their families, to stimulate and support research designed to identify the cause and cure of scleroderma, as well as improve methods of treatment, and to also enhance the public's awareness of this disease. And another thing about the awareness that means a lot to me is because the big part of this is actually scleroderma research money that we're trying to raise so that we can find a cure and also better treatments for scleroderma. And I know I've been told that since 2018, we've raised $1.6 million that went to scleroderma research. And that impresses me. It makes such a difference for me, because I know we're just not talking about it, we're doing things about it. And that's what's important to me. And awareness is the name of the game. We have to get words out about scleroderma. There's so many diseases out there, and ours is right up there. We need to get the word out about scleroderma and how it's affected people, and how we need a cure, how we need money for research.
Thank you, June, and your team for helping spread scleroderma awareness. I know, June, that this is a passion of yours, as you have served in various roles within the organization, so thank you. If you would like to donate in memory of Viola Zinzel or any other team that is part of the Albany Walk, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and click on Albany. Now let's check into Westchester, New York, and speak to the team captain of Adrian's network, Adrian Shore. Adrian serves as part of the Westchester Walk Committee. So let's check in and find out how she got involved with the organization and what her team is doing this year for the virtual event.
Hi, so I was diagnosed with scleroderma in 2003. And when I was given the diagnosis, I had never heard the word and knew nothing about the disease. So shortly thereafter the diagnosis, I just started doing as much research as I could. And I found out very early on that there were many different components or facets to this disease. There was seeming like medical pieces, physical, the emotional component. I was thinking and saw that it would affect my family, it might affect my job, and so on. And needless to say, I was feeling very overwhelmed. So also as part of my research, I came upon the Scleroderma Foundation, and I thought, aha, this would be a good place for me to connect with. And I immediately thought, well, I might need some emotional support, and my family maybe could use some help. So that was one piece of it. But very early on, I was very concerned with hearing from others who had the same diagnosis and what they were doing and how they were managing and what doctors they were going to and what sort of treatments there were. So that was the big push for me. I became connected to people. I met many, have gone to many forums, been in many walks, and it's all been good. And it really has met so many of my needs from that very early date on. Several years later, I thought about participating in my first walk. So I started a very small team and my family joined me. And my goal for joining the walks was, one, of course, to raise money. And I thought fundraising was important. Money goes to research. Research leads to hopefully a cure. But for me, the big piece from very early on and to this day has been letting others know about scleroderma, what it is, hearing the word and learning something about it. So I believe that anybody who read my email that I was reaching out to support my efforts would read my story and therefore learn something of scleroderma. And that still holds true today. This year, my team has raised $7,000. That was my goal. So couldn't be more pleased. And we'll continue to do this, hopefully, for many years to come.
Thank you, Adrian. I can remember that you and Adrian's network and your family were at first at the Manhattan Walk, and then since you had a lot of family, you moved to New Jersey, and then you guys were the good part of making the walk in Westchester over the years. So your network of family and friends have been phenomenal. If anybody would like to donate or participate in the Westchester Walk or Adrian's network, go to steppingoutwalk.org and click on the Westchester Walk. Over the years, along with our walks, we've hosted many events, and volunteers have given of their time and talents to create a fun, welcoming, positive event and atmosphere. And we couldn't do this without you. So thank you very much to all the people who have helped for so many years here. And we also want to thank our sponsors. On a national level for this year, there's Boehringer Ingelheim, which is a pharmaceutical company that makes a drug for ILD, which is lung issues. And there's what used to be Actelion, has changed their name to Janssen. It's part of Johnson & Johnson, and they've been a sponsor of ours for, I'm going to guess, almost 15 years. And again, they make a medication for lung and pulmonary hypertension challenges. So, but I would also like to thank personally many of our local sponsors that have been with us for a long time. Here we have our second virtual walk, and the sponsors are still out there helping us in that regard. So we couldn't make this happen without them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We've heard from 3 teams so far, 3 individuals on those teams. So now let's move to Rochester, and we're going to hear from Team Val, which is Valentine Fenty. And unfortunately, Val and I share a common situation. We both lost our wives to this disease. So Val's team, I Love Kent K, is his wife's name, and they've been involved in the Rochester Walk, I'm going to say, for a good 10 years. I walked the halls of Congress with Val a number of years ago, and Val's walk group, I Love K, made a subset. They moved to Manhattan when his grandson got involved with the volunteers in Manhattan in the last couple of years. So thank you, Val. Take it away.
Reason for being involved with scleroderma is my first wife had scleroderma for 14 years before she passed. And one of her desires was to find a cure for scleroderma. I know collectively we are all contributing as to what we can, but there are not a lot, but there are a couple different avenues that you may or may not be aware of. that are available to us to get money in the coffers of Scleroderma to spend on research. One is Amazon. They call it Amazon Smile. Every time you spend some money, they take a certain percent and put it into a fund to donate to your cause, and you can designate Scleroderma as that cause. And just recently, they gave me a report, and they contributed $293 million to various causes, and 3,000 of that was based on what efforts that we put in to us, Amazon, that was sent to the Tri-State Scleroderma chapter. And Facebook does something similar. Every birthday, they give you the opportunity to name a fund to contribute to, and you can ask people your friends to contribute to that fund. And recently, we had a friend that had colon cancer, and he raised several $100s by asking his friends to contribute. So those are two areas besides your individual efforts, which the walk through Scleroderma. You invite your friends and family to attend and to partake in contributing to Scleroderma and the great things that they do for getting the word out on what Scleroderma is and how difficult it is to diagnose. We had that exact same problem when Kay had Scleroderma. They were treating her for pneumonia, and I said that this can't be pneumonia. I mean, she was taking pneumonia medication and still showing symptoms of having trouble breathing. And we went to a new doctor, and he immediately suspected it was Scleroderma, and the test and the history are there for everyone to see. The other thing that we do is that I am retired, and I live off my savings through 401k. Your 401k, you can designate a amount of money that you wish to donate during that forthcoming year, and that is contributed. It is contributed to Scleroderma, non-taxable. In other words, you don't have to. If you were to give $1,000 and you had to pay $300 in taxes, then you only had $700 to give to Scleroderma. Whereas if you put this fund in ahead of time, you know that you're going to give the money ahead of time. You have your accountant put the money in a separate fund, and it is contributed directly from your 401k through a check that you write, and you save that tax. You don't have to file. I know you get the tax back, you get that tax money back, but you don't get it back until the following year. So it's those are the, I won't say they're games, but they're games that we have to play to help a good cause, and Scleroderma is one of the best that I know of.
If you would like to donate to I Love K or any participant representing the Rochester Walk, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and click on Rochester. Now let's go back down into the city and check in with another team. Team McGinnis is representing the Manhattan Walk, and their team captain, Andrew McGinnis, will share his story and how their team is spreading Scleroderma awareness.
Hi, my name's Andy McGinnis. I am team captain of Team McGinnis for the Stepping Out for a Cure for the Manhattan Walk. And how I got involved, a friend of mine actually worked with Bruce Cohen, who is the director of the Tri-State chapter for some time. He worked with a friend of mine in York, Pennsylvania, and through their discussions found out that he was involved in the Scleroderma fundraising and research, and put me in touch with his daughter, Lindsay. So that's how I got involved. In terms of what I do to raise awareness, this year I've taken a slightly different tact in using social media. I'm not very big on social media. I looked at my last post was 2017, but this year I started to leverage Facebook, which is the only platform I'm on, but leveraging that to post for donations, and have gotten some good feedback. It's also caused people to ask me questions and raised awareness, which is ultimately what we want to do. And awareness is important because money follows the awareness, and the hope would be that we eventually have enough awareness to keep research dollars flowing to the cause, to make sure that we keep pushing for a cure as fast as we can. So the more awareness that we can raise, the better it will be for the cause. And hopefully at some point the legislatures, either in the state or in Congress, will really be engaged and have awareness and direct a lot of the research funding towards scleroderma and even other autoimmune diseases, which could have a mutual benefit from a research perspective. So really looking forward to today. All right. If you're interested in donating, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and donate to any of the walks, or you can even donate to my team page, which is Team McGinnis. Thank you.
Andrew, it's hard to believe we met almost 10 years ago. I remember when you showed up at the Riverside Park in New York City for the Manhattan Walk at 6 a.m., wanted to volunteer and help us to get started. And you were so helpful. You would work anywhere we needed you. Every year you did something different, but you shined in what you did. So I'm grateful of that. So, and yes, I met your friend Thomas. It's a small world. Thomas and I worked together. I told him about my connection to Scleroderma and the foundation, and I was quite surprised that he was aware of that. And he was aware of that because, unfortunately, you, as his college roommate, your mom had scleroderma and had passed, and he knew how difficult illness it is. And you spoke of awareness is key for us to move the organization forward, as well as the importance of monies funding for research and engaging the federal, state, and local government, how they can be of help to us. So the chapter's efforts, as well as the foundation's advocacy efforts from all over the country, have worked well together. And I've been involved for probably 15 years in that level. And we have some success stories, and I'd like to share 2 of them with us today. Our local efforts at the Tri-State chapter with fundraising and awareness, obviously our walk event today, and when we had our in-person walks, was very key to our success in that area, as well as other events that the foundation put on and third-party events that people would organize themselves. And we've been fortunate to all of us working together to raise some significant funds, and we've been able to pledge for 10 plus years extra additional research funding to the National Scleroderma Peer Review Research Program. And it takes a lot to do that, because that's over and above our standard obligation to nationals programs and the support of our own activities here at the chapter level. And last year, with all the challenges that we faced with COVID, it was even more difficult. But you, our community, came forward, and with our walk events that we moved from June to October, we were astounded by everybody's efforts and how we were still able to come together in this new virtual world. And therefore, our board of directors in February was able to pledge an additional $50,000 to the Scleroderma Foundation's peer review research program. And this is, as I said, on top of 10 years and over $500,000 that we as a Tri-State chapter have been able to pledge to the research program. Our other success story is again based on our advocacy efforts in Washington, and the chapter key people who have connections, as well as our colleagues from all over the country, going to Washington, talking to our Congress people, our senators and House reps, and working with specific committees. And we have been able to, the last 2 years running, get an additional $5 million. Yes, $5 million for scleroderma research from the DOD. What is a DOD, you mean? So that's the peer review medical research program at the Department of Defense, which does its own separate research outside of the NIH, which is National Institute of Health. And we've been blessed for the past 2 years to get $5 million each year, $10 million total, focused on scleroderma research. And as we speak, the advocacy efforts of the chapter and our colleagues around the country are working to secure $5 million for the next year's federal budget. So we hope that that works. We're all working together, and we appreciate all your efforts to help us do that. And while this is great, we still have much to do. And it's good that we have moved forward in certain areas, but this research hopefully will bring about better treatment options for patients and ultimately a cure. But in order to do that, we need your support. And your support up until today for the walks has been phenomenal. Your friends, your family, your business contacts. But today is not the end. We will be open for our walk events until the end of the year. So if there are people that you weren't able to contact, please still reach out. We're still collecting funds so that we can move forward, so we can help the organization, we can help the people living with scleroderma to have a better quality of life going forward. So now it is my opportunity, my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Amy Geitzen. Amy has, as I just spoke, walked the halls of Congress numerous times, and she's very active in our advocacy program. How do you do that? By telling people your own story, whether it's on a national level, the state level, or the local level. Your story is what matters. And that's what our congressional, our state, and our local representatives want to hear, why it's important that they support our programs. So, Amy, we thank you for that. And Amy is also a board member of the Tri-State Board of Directors, and Amy runs a online, virtual, obviously, support group for young adults called SYNC. I'm sure she'll tell you more about that. So welcome, Amy.
Hi, my name is Amy and I'm from Buffalo, New York. This year, to help raise awareness for Scleroderma Tri-State's virtual walk and for my own personal team, the Gießen Scleroderma Squad, I took my awareness campaign and fundraising content to social media. Through social media outlets like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I was able to reach a ton of people and promote my team, which I would not have normally been able to. I was able to double my intended goal. This year, I raised $1,500 towards my cause. Each year, I try to push the limits of what I can do to raise awareness for the scleroderma community and to try to exceed my goal. This year, I built my campaign around wearing teal and using my fur babies, my cute little kitties, as actors to help get the word out about scleroderma and about how we need people to get involved. By posting my pictures, quotes, flyers, and videos all on social media, I was able to bring awareness and fundraise all at the same time. It's quick and easy, and honestly, I already knew how to do it because I promote a group called SYNC, Scleroderma Young Adults Needing Connection, on social media all the time. SYNC is an online support group geared towards young adults between the ages of 18 and 42 who have been affected by scleroderma. The group provides its members with opportunities for socialization and connection to other people with scleroderma throughout the global community, as well as educational opportunities such as hosting speakers who are specialists on relative topics referring to scleroderma. SYNC was created to allow young adults like myself a safe space to connect and to build social relationships. We meet Fridays, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other month. If you're a young adult living with scleroderma and you're looking for a place to learn, grow, and connect with like individuals, please swing by. Everyone in this community needs a place to come and connect together with fellow scleroderma patients and find a way to grow as a person living with a chronic disease. That is what SYNC is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. It's wonderful to hear how people are using social media to spread scleroderma awareness and get connected to others that are walking in the same journey. If you would like to get involved in one of SYNC's meetings, please feel free to reach out to our office or check the calendar on our website at sclerodermatristate.org for more details. One of our other teams in Long Island region is Dina's Walking Warriors, and they would like to share their story. And please welcome their team captain, Dina Ulmer.
Well, we got involved, I think, back when maybe 5-6 years ago, my mom saw it in the newsletter, the Scleroderma newsletter about the walk. And then we said, you know what, let's give it a try. Basically, how I do everything is through Facebook. I put my link out probably 6 weeks before a walk, and I have 2 sisters, and we are pretty relentless of posting it each week. And that's how we would get all of our donations. It's mostly family, friends. Sometimes we could even do a 50-50 on Facebook if everybody has Venmo that participates. We have one of them going right now, and right before the walk, we'll do it, So things like that are basically how I get my donations, but it's mostly just family, friends. Few people I have, their family members have had it or went through it, some of my sister's friends, so they normally are pretty good. So that's basically how we do it each year. Facebook's a big, big factor, And without the walk with it being virtual, it's a little harder, I think, to raise money because you're not physically going to the walk. It just seems a little more difficult. So we just keep showing it on Facebook every week, and hoping for the best. But we've been doing pretty good, have a few more weeks of it. So, and why I do it, basically to try and get some research going to get a cure someday. I'm blessed, I'm here, I'm doing okay. I'm not in pain, so I'm a lot better than others are doing. So,
thank you, Dina. Funding for research is what we are trying to do through the Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma event. This year, we are hopeful that we can help reach our goal and be able to contribute once again towards the National Peer-Reviewed Research Program. If you would like to donate to any of the teams today, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and click on the walk that you would like to partner with, or call our office at 800-867-0885, and our staff will be happy to assist you with your donation or pledge. Right now, we will hear from our current CEO from the Scleroderma Foundation, Mr. Robert Riggs.
Hello, I'm Robert Riggs, CEO of the Scleroderma Foundation. I want to take a moment to thank you for participating in this Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma event. We're virtual again this year because of the pandemic, and we really look forward to bringing our community together in person very soon. Meanwhile, I want to thank you for helping to advance our mission of support, education, and very importantly, research to find the cause and the cure for scleroderma. Because of your participation and your philanthropy through this Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma event, we're able to do more for our community, particularly in these difficult times. I hope you have a great day. I hope that you have a wonderful and safe summer ahead. Again, thank you for your support, and take care.
Thank you, Robert, for talking to us today, taking time out of your busy schedule, and to speak to the tri-state scleroderma community. We appreciate it very much. We're grateful of the collaborative efforts of a tri-state chapter and a national team working together hand in hand, supporting our community and working together to fulfill our mission of support, education, and research. We've spoken a lot today about research, and about your support is a reason that we can fund research at the chapter level and at the national level. So our next speaker will be one of the researchers whose research program was granted funding by the Scleroderma Foundation's peer review research program. She is one of 8 for the 2020 program. Dr. Kimberly Schoenwalter is an attending physician at Hospital for Special Surgery in New York, and she's focusing on some very dynamic research. So thank you. Over the past 4 years, because of all your efforts, we have had 4 researchers in our region of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut get some of their funding because of the monies that we were able to put into the national research bucket. So that's commendable. and we should all understand and appreciate all that we've done together there. So if we were in New York City at the Manhattan Walk today, we would have Kimberly speak and maybe cut the ribbon at the walk, talk about her project. But unfortunately, we hope to be back there next year. We're not there. But one of the advantages of having virtual walks and all of our 11 walks combined, everyone from across our region and even in others around the country and the world who are with us today can hear Dr. Schoenwalter talk about her project. So we're grateful that we're able to do this, and we would like to now present Dr. Kimberly Schoenwalter.
Hi, my name is Kim Showalter, one of the rheumatologists at Hospital for Special Surgery in New York City. As an early career investigator with a focus on scleroderma, I am truly honored to have the support of the Scleroderma Foundation, my mentors, Dr. Robert Spira and Dr. Jessica Gordon, and importantly, the patients with scleroderma in the tri-state area who participate in our research. As this audience is well aware, scleroderma is a complex autoimmune condition for which treatment options are limited and may have unwanted side effects. The purpose of our research is to determine if we can use skin biopsies to help us predict clinical improvement 1 year later. In our study, we will evaluate skin fibroblasts, which are key cells involved in skin thickening and scar formation. These cells can vary in their features, and we predict that evaluating the types of fibroblasts present in skin at a given time will tell us about how likely it is that a patient will improve with immunosuppressive medications. To achieve this, we will study data collected during 3 clinical trials for patients with early scleroderma. We believe that patients with inflamed fibroblasts will respond best to anti-inflammatory type treatments. Then we will study fibroblasts in late scleroderma, when treatment is usually less effective, and test if fibroblast features can predict clinical outcomes later in disease. The natural history of untreated late scleroderma is that skin tends to improve, but some patients continue to struggle with uncomfortable, tight, and thickened skin. We hope to create a tool to predict who will respond to treatment in early disease and who will likely improve even without treatment in later disease. This could help ensure that treatments are directed to those patients most likely to benefit. It would also be highly useful in informing the risk-benefit discussions between patients and their doctors, especially for those individuals who would likely improve even without treatment and for whom treatment risks may outweigh the potential benefits. I look forward to sharing our results with you in the near future, and again, appreciate so much the support of the Scleroderma Foundation and the Tri-State Scleroderma community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Showalter. We cannot thank everyone enough, from our donors, our walkers, volunteers, staff, and even the medical community for doing their part to help find a cure for scleroderma. Each year, our chapter holds events in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut to raise awareness within the community, and in doing so, contributes funding towards research. Dr. Kimberly Showalter is just one of many who have been granted funding for research through the Scleroderma Foundation with the help of many of you watching today. Thank you. Now we're going to check into Albany, New York, and speak with one of our volunteers who serves as a walk committee volunteer, a support group leader, and also part of our tri-state board. Please welcome Carla Gage.
I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about myself, my team, and why I'm committed to Tri-State Scleroderma Foundation. When I was first diagnosed, I had a wonderful rheumatologist, who is still my rheumatologist, who referred me to a support group in Albany. I went to my first meeting and it scared me, but I went back to the second meeting. It scared me because I saw other people who live with scleroderma and other people who have the disease in greater ways than I have the disease. So I went back to my second meeting, started getting involved, and thought it was the most wonderful atmosphere to help our patients. So when you're part of the support group, you're also part of the walk team. And I've been involved with the walk for several years now. We've had multiple teams in Albany, and I have, this year, my team was very virtual. Through the wonders of Facebook, you can raise awareness quicker and smarter than any other way available. And I'm not saying to stop talking to people about scleroderma. I'm just saying Facebook is an efficient method. And we've raised some good money over the past 2 years using the Facebook tool. So that is how I've become involved. I want to talk a little bit about awareness. Awareness is the first step in creating an environment where the disease is recognized. This in and of itself creates a path of comfort for the patient. People who become more knowledgeable and recognize the disease. And that's a benefit to all the patients. It's a benefit to the medical community. When people recognize this disease, its risks, its complications, they are more invested in helping to find solutions and most definitely a cure.
Thank you, Carla. It's obvious that finding a cure and in the meantime, finding better treatment options to our patient community, all those suffering with this difficult disease is very paramount. So I describe scleroderma when I'm meeting someone for the first time that take a group of 10 people who have this illness and interview each one of them individually and ask them to never say that they have scleroderma. The interviewee would say, I talked to 10 people that have 10 different illnesses. And that's some of the challenge in first finding the diagnosis to begin with, and then for treating it in that regards. So it's difficult for a general practitioner doctor. It's even difficult for a rheumatologist that doesn't see a lot of scleroderma patients. So the Scleroderma Foundation, quite a long time ago, started in collaboration with some pretty sophisticated medical facilities around the country to develop scleroderma treatment centers. And a designation for a scleroderma treatment center is one of three things. They give a comprehensive treatment and care, not just a rheumatologist, but they're usually affiliated with a pulmonologist, a GI doctor, a cardiologist, maybe some occupational therapy people, nutrition, pharmacist, and what have you. And the second point is they are involved in research, both at a lab level and a clinical level. And the third is they're spreading information, educational to the community of patients. They're spreading it to the general public, and almost more importantly, to the medical profession community. So the Tri-State chapter is blessed. Obviously, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut is a large geographical region with a large population base. So we have 7 scleroderma treatment centers in our backyard. In New Jersey, we have Hackensack Meridian, which is a pediatric center. We have upstate New York, we have Albany, the Steffen Center. Dr. Shapiro will be speaking today. In New York City, we have Columbia Presbyterian. We have Hospital for Special Surgery. On Long Island, we have Northwell Health. In Hartford area, we have UConn in Connecticut. And in the New Haven area, we have Yale. And speaking of Yale, Dr. Monique Hincliffe, who is the director of the scleroderma program at Yale, spoke last year on our program like this last October, and she talked about the importance of scleroderma research centers, if you were able to hear that from her. And while we're talking about Connecticut, I'd like to introduce the next presenter in our program today. It is Team Blessed, and Team Blessed has been with us for a number of years, excuse the pun, but we've been blessed by their energy level and this time frame. They're involved in the obviously the virtual walk in New Haven, and the team captain of Team Blessed is Stephanie Manson, and I would like to turn it over to Stephanie.
Stephanie Manson, and I was diagnosed with scleroderma in 2014. Well, actually 2016. The symptoms began in 2014, but I wasn't actually diagnosed until 2016. I went through hell trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I went through so many different tests and medications and different doctors. And when they finally did tell me what was wrong with me, it was something I had never heard of. No one I knew heard of it. And that really scared me because it's like, how could this disease be there and no one knows about it? So that is what really pumped me to start investigating what is scleroderma, how it affects different people, what can I do to help to get the word out so that people will understand that this is a true disease and a lot of people are suffering with it. So I've been going headstrong with my different fundraising events and different organizations, trying to get them involved to, learn more about scleroderma and how we can, find a cure for this. Everyone knows about cancer, everyone knows about, MS and those other diseases, but no one really knows about scleroderma, and that worries me because it is a fatal disease with no cure. Team Blessed has been very supportive for me. They've seen me through some very hard times. And this year, even though I will not be able to walk for the walk this year because I just recently had surgery on my C4, C5, C5, C6. So I will not be able to walk, but the team is still going to walk for me, which is really great. We recently had a scavenger hunt, our first annual photo scavenger hunt, which was very successful. We're able to raise $350, which I am very happy for. We do plan on having another event later on in the summer, and hopefully we'll reach our $1,000 goal, which is really kind of crazy because before I made the goal, I had no idea that I was going to end up having surgery and being put on on restrictions until August. It's like, okay, so how I'm gonna do this? But I have a great team backing me up and we're gonna get it accomplished. I know, and I am like so blessed. That's why my team name is Team Blessed, because the support has been wonderful, not just from my family and friends, but also from the organization. And I'm very appreciative.
Thank you, Stephanie. I remember last year that you took your event to a whole new level, creating a backyard themed event that was consisting of food, bingo, and even a movie on a big inflatable screen. We want to thank you for challenging your community and your friends to a scavenger hunt to create awareness for this year's event. Now, I would love to introduce our next performer. He has performed on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, and David Letterman's show. Last year, he performed for us in our very first ever virtual event. So please welcome Moody McCarthy.
Hey, we're recording now. Good to be with you. Thank you, Bruce, and thank you, Candace, and everyone who put this together for the Scleroderma Foundation of the Tri-State. It's great to be with you again. Last year, we did the virtual show, but it was live. And this year is all pre-recorded. And if you watched last year's show, you know why it's pre-recorded this year, because a lot of the medical professionals were using a lot of bad language. It was tough. But we're back here. It's good to be with you in any capacity. I hope everybody is well. I'm back at the theater right here. This is not a virtual backdrop. I'm in a real theater because, during this quarantine, you can rent a theater for $30. I figure for the Scleroderma Foundation, let's do that. We'll support the arts and give you guys a professional looking show right here. So I hope this year is going to be better. It's going to be a better year. It already is a better year. I'm fully vaccinated. And, they're having big concerts now. I've been reading about this. They're going to be big concerts this summer with a section for fully vaccinated people and then another section for the unvaccinated. And I feel in between them, we should put the Johnson & Johnson people because they're kind of tweeners, But I'm a married man. My wife and I were having the big travel chat, the big chat about, hey, when it's safe to go anywhere, where do you want to go? And my wife wants to go to Spain. And I want to go to the dentist. So we're looking for a dentist in Spain. That's what we're looking for. So my wife's working from home. A little tension. I won't get too personal, but a little tension. I tell you, the quarantine's given us a glimpse of each other's jobs, and I have learned that my wife works very hard. Works very, very hard, and she has learned that I don't really have a job. I've been kind of exposed on that front. It's been a little humbling as a performer. To hear the federal government side with my wife, who has always said that I'm non-essential. So it's a little. Yeah, and I'm scared of my wife. I'm always scared of my wife, but even more so now during the quarantine because she's also my barber, okay? So anyone in a relationship, you have had your partner annoyed with you. We've all experienced that. But I don't know if you've ever sat down in a chair with a barber that is pissed off at you, right? So I'm not going to show you the back of my head because I don't know what's going on back here. She says she's shaving my neck. It feels like she's spelling words back there. It might say MAGA. I don't know what she's up to. So I'm not going to turn around. But yeah, we've been bickering a little. Me and my wife had an argument recently, and she said, you think you're right about everything. And I was like, yeah, I hope so. It'd be worse if I didn't. It'd be worse if I'm arguing just to argue, like you married a court-appointed lawyer. That'd be even worse. But I'm a disappointment to my wife, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you the primary reason. My wife is a foodie. My wife is from New York City. She grew up in restaurant culture, foodie. I'm from a big Irish family in Syracuse. I'm just happy to eat, you know? So every night she's like, what do you want for dinner? I go, pizza. I just want pizza. And it's so disappointing because foodies, they want to talk about food and restaurants. They want a 10-minute conversation leading into every single meal, right? So she go, what do you want? I go, pizza. She goes, anything else? I go, okay, let's get some Thai food. Here's my wife. I can't have Thai food today. I had Thai food yesterday. I go, well, people in Thailand handle that pretty well. Now, the food inside the house is getting more exotic. We don't have rice anymore. We now have quinoa. My wife replaced rice with quinoa, which I felt was a lateral move, you know, because quinoa is good if you put it in something that was already good. No one's ever been eating some random plate of food just going, This is a little bland, but I think some quinoa would jack it up. Everything is organic here. We have organic peanut butter. And I was wondering if anyone watching, has anyone bought it twice? Has anyone ever bought organic peanut butter twice? Do they have any repeat business? Because this stuff is heinous. Okay. Now, if you've never had organic peanut butter and you want to try it, don't buy it. Make it. Here's how you make organic peanut butter. Get out your regular peanut butter. Okay. And then pour oil on top of it. Yeah, and spill it all over the outside of the jar, too. That's crucial. Get it all over and on the bottom. So you'll have to take a shower every time you handle this crud. Okay, set it down. And then somehow remove all the peanut butter flavor. Get rid of all the flavor. Go. Okay, and here's the final step. Take a $10 bill and throw that in the garbage right there. Organic peanut butter. So I'm from upstate New York. Like I said, I'm a Syracuse native. My parents are still up there. I love upstate New York. You know, I grew up in upstate New York thinking, hey, we got the worst weather in the country, right? And then you get older, you get a little perspective. I think we got the best weather. I mean, you look at the Gulf Coast, they get these tremendous storms with Florida, big storms. The West Coast is catching on fire. Other put it in tornadoes. The rest of the upstate New York, it's pretty good, man. I still think we should have a fundraiser, though, a telethon for upstate. You know, just come on and go, look, hey, we're having a fundraiser. We didn't have a big storm, but we just want acknowledgement for a lifetime achievement of sucky weather. Just a lifetime of sucky weather, right? It's been cloudy for a month. We just want to raise a couple $100 to get some vitamin D. That's all we want. Very modest goal. But my parents are up there. This is the toughest part of the pandemic was not being able to see my parents. And now that we're all vaccinated, we get to linger a little. My parents are tough. They've been married 61 years. Yes, they met online. They met online 61 years ago in the line to the cafeteria at their Catholic elementary school. So here's my parents. They were born 2 weeks apart, met in kindergarten, high school sweethearts, married 61 years, had 7 kids. And they're tough, too. They're still in the same big old house up there. You think they'd move to a ranch or assisted living, you know. And I don't know if you've seen this, if you have senior people. Every time I go home, there's just more grab bars up. They're just put the whole house is grab bars. And which made me realize I'm going to retire to a ballet studio. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. But, hey, it is great to be a part of this event again. A person very crucial in my comedy career had scleroderma, and I saw firsthand what a horrible challenge that is. And so I'm happy to do anything, happy to be with you again, and hope everybody's safe and sound. Maybe we'll do this thing live next year, and, you know, if these medical professionals can watch the language a little bit. Thanks so much. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Candace, everybody who helped put it together. We'll see you. All the best.
Moody, we are grateful and we thank you for being on our program today. I remember last year when you came on our program, and I wasn't really certain of what your connection was. And when you started talking, all of a sudden it clicked in my head that you were at the comedy club, and Lucian Holt was the manager. And, from what I heard from some people, had a very difficult journey with scleroderma. And the foundation and the chapter were involved with Vanessa, and they did a memorial program. I think it was like 2006 for Lucian at the club in on 2nd Avenue there in New York. And actually Vanessa participated and spoke at probably for 3 or 4 years at our walk in Riverside Park and what have you. So we're grateful. It's a small world how we're connected to each other. And you're coming from upstate New York, which is obviously a big part of our area. And we thank you. We hope that you can come back in the future. So now we're going to stay in New York. We're going to meet up with one of our support group leaders, Ziba Hyder. And Ziba, I've known for probably 4 or 5 years. I think she was diagnosed about 6, 7 years ago, perhaps. And she's a very loving, caring, supportive person. And her role as a support group leader should go out of her way to help anybody, new patients and what have you. We're blessed to have her as part of our volunteer community, and as a leader. So take it away, Ziba.
So about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I was diagnosed with scleroderma, I was, as everybody is, scared, alone, and I was a little bit lost because I didn't know anybody who had scleroderma. As a matter of fact, I didn't know what scleroderma was or how to even pronounce it or write it. So I didn't know what to do. I asked my friends if they knew anybody with scleroderma, and they said, nope, we don't know. One friend was able to find some remote connection to a scleroderma person, but I didn't know anybody. So I was like, what should I do? I went online, started Googling, and everything I got was very scary. I usually don't read stuff which is not from a credible website like NIH or, some hospital, Cleveland Clinic, etc. But you don't know what to do, and everything is kind of really scares you. So then I Googled for a support group, found the New York City support group, went to it, and it was such a sigh of relief because not only did I meet people who were afflicted with the same disease, but they were able to talk about the situation, what they did, what the resources were, who the doctors were in the community, how to get to the doctors, just a lot of issues that you have in your mind, what to eat, what the resources were on the Scleroderma organization website, the videos. I mean, it was a wealth of information. Suddenly, from being totally lost, I was like, wow, this is like a gold minefield. And people were very helpful. Patients shared their experiences about their hands and their therapists and all that stuff. So I started attending it regularly. It provided me both the hope I needed, and because at the time I was diagnosed, it was doomsday, and also the emotional support that I needed. So I started attending it. Then my co-partner, Thais, who's my co-partner now, asked me if I would like to join as a co-leader. So I said yes. And that's a big commitment because you need to be passionate about it, and you need to really make a difference in the lives of other patients. So I joined the organization, and I've been there since that day, which is 5 years now. And I've grown myself, but most importantly, I hope I've helped the patients. And a lot of patients don't come to our support group meetings for one reason or the other. They call me on the phone and they want to have one-on-one dialogues or through email or chat or text. So you kind of help them on a one-to-one basis. And I found that helping them is helping me also. It's like mentoring them, but it's also helping me because I get a lot of satisfaction from helping the people um, find the right resources and provide them the emotional support. So it's been a great journey, and I'm so glad that I've joined this organization as a volunteer. So I appreciate that. This year, and every year we've been doing every year we've been doing walks, and the purpose of the walk is to create awareness, obviously. If you look at cancer, how much awareness they have, and we have zero awareness of scleroderma unless you are afflicted with the disease or your relatives know about it, but nobody else knows it. Every new patient who comes to the support group meeting says, I don't know what scleroderma is, I've never heard about it. So creating awareness is very critical because it leads to donations and fundraising. So the walks, when we used the walks, were really good because they created awareness, they raised the donations, and they were a lot of fun. It created, enjoyment with the family, meeting other patients, meeting the doctors, and just having fun, eating together, walking together. But they stopped, and because of COVID, as we know, so we went virtual. Now, virtual is really hard to create that awareness that we did in an environment when you're in a city park and other people are seeing the balloons and this and that. So people have, we are trying to do our best. So in my case, I create awareness actually through two ways. I do the birthday fundraisers and the virtual walk fundraisers. And usually, of course, I'm not a very avid social media user, so I put them on my Facebook, and Eva told me how to pin them onto the Facebook, so I pin them on the Facebook. But I also put them on my Building Link website. So we have a big high-rise 32-stories building, a lot of people here, and we have a kind of a bulletin board. I put them there. We also, there's a community group website that we have for our larger neighborhood group. I put them over there. So I don't use social media, but I use these other websites to put my announcements on. But I found that between the birthday fundraiser and the virtual walk, my birthday fundraisers always do better, always, like multiple times better than the virtual walks. And I think I know part of the reason because it's more personal. People know me, it's my birthday, they want to do something. And I also tell my friends, listen, don't give me some stupid present because most of the presents I don't like. Just donate the amount to the Scleroderma. And in the beginning, I didn't know to give it to Tri-State. I used to tell them to give it to Scleroderma organization. So it went to the national chapter, which is fine. But now I say, give it to Tri-State. So, yeah, I do the birthday fundraisers and the virtual walk, and hopefully, and I do send emails, and of course I send thank you emails to everybody. So I'm hoping that all this raises some level of awareness. And I also do a little bit of cheating. I keep raising the goal a little bit. So when they reach the goal, I increase it again. So because I've noticed when I stop increasing the goal, people stop donating, which is stupid because they can still donate. But if you increase the goal, it kind of keeps the money coming in. So it's been a lot of fun doing these. I hope the walk starts soon because I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and going out again and setting up the booths and wearing the t-shirts and all the fun stuff that we used to do. Why is it important to create all this awareness? I look at it as like a 4-step process that you create the awareness, which allows you to get donations, because when people become aware of a problem, that's when they donate. They're not just going to donate to something they don't know about. So it's awareness, donation, and the donations give us money for fundraising, give us money for funding the research, which then leads to the cure. So it's these 4 steps are really important to create the awareness. It's awareness leads to cure, and how does awareness lead to cure? These are the steps that are involved. You go from awareness, donation, funding the research, and getting to the cure. And as I said before, cancer has such incredible awareness. that they can raise millions and millions of dollars, and we have no awareness. And we can't spend money in mass media advertising like cancer does, cancer.org on television and the Hope House, etc., because we don't have that kind of funding. So how do you create awareness? It's on an individual grassroots basis that we are doing, all the volunteers and their families. And also we need to create awareness among the legislators and the senators. So some of us I have gone to, just before COVID hit, end of February last year, we went to Washington and met with the senators and the Congress people to raise money and awareness of scleroderma so we can pass the bills and get research money for scleroderma from these organizations. So we have to do it both in the public arena to raise small amount of donations and do it in the government at the legislative level so we can raise funding from there. When COVID hit, before COVID hit, we used to have our individual scleroderma group meetings, and they were going fine. And then came the big pandemic and boom, everything stopped and we started having the meetings online. And then very gradually, Bruce recommended that we open our meetings to invite some other leaders so they can see what was going on in our meeting. So we opened the meetings to a few other leaders just to kind of share some of our meeting experiences. And that was quite successful. So then Bruce and the people in Binghamton, the Tri-State group, decided that they're going to form these regional hubs or pods where the people who share somewhat the same resource, like in New York, Nassau, Long Island, Queens, we more or less have the same doctors because we can travel to these facilities. So the Binghamton group created these regional hubs to have these joint meetings on Zoom. So we had, our grouping consists of Nassau, Queens, Long Island, Bergen County, Manhattan, and Northern Jersey. So we have our meetings and each leader takes up each of the support group leaders takes up the leadership of each meeting. And we invite different speakers and it goes really well. It's been quite successful because we are able to share some common resources across the different support groups and share some doctors who can provide information to all the support group leaders. And I think it's been very successful, and I hope that even after we go individual, when we start having our own meetings, we can maybe continue one or two of these group meetings because they've been quite successful and I think our patients enjoy them. We even had somebody come in from Florida once, so that was interesting. So yeah, so that's what's going on, and hopefully we're looking forward to going back to the normal ways of doing things.
Thank you, Ziba, and thank you for stepping out in this year's walk. If you would like to donate to Ziba or any other person that is walking in the Manhattan Walk, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and click on Manhattan. Now, finding information about the disease is a bit overwhelming, as Ziba has pointed out, and the Scleroderma Foundation has a vast array of information available. We also have what's called sclerodermavideo.com, which is a resource of videos of our past events that have been held by the Tri-State chapter. So please check those out. Now, another team captain in Long Island serves as part of this year's walk committee and also serves as a support group leader for the Nassau Queens area. She has designed the Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma t-shirt for this year. So please welcome Eva Marie Cole.
Hi, I'm Eva Marie Cole. I'm the support group leader for the Nassau Queens support group in the tri-state area. I got involved with the Scleroderma Foundation because I wanted to help other people just like others had helped me. I wanted to give back and help them, help people on their journey towards awareness, education, and overall support. To me, support means having family, friends, and others who fight the same cause, to turn your times of crisis to give you a broader focus and a positive self-image. It's about making friends and identifying new mentors. It's proven that having a strong support system has many positive benefits, such as higher levels of well-being, better coping skills, and a healthier life. Social support can also reduce depression and stress and anxiety. I really stand by the foundation's motto, "You are not alone." So please reach out, get help, support, educate, and contact the foundation for help. Our walks this year are virtual due to the pandemic. We're hoping to get back in person in 2022. But this year, Team Cole has expanded her fundraising efforts through social media, Facebook, and I've actually posted on Instagram and LinkedIn. Using social media is an excellent platform. This year, I was able to educate and receive new supporters who I never knew before. Team Cole likes to make things fun and interesting, so we actually dress up in a lot of teal. We wear tiaras, we take out pom-poms, bandanas. We get all crazy with the teal. And matter of fact, this weekend, we threw a Team Cole barbecue, some new people, some supporting existing friends and family. We just talked about the disease. We ran around the neighborhood. We put the signs on my lawn. We asked the community and my block to get involved, ask how you can help. And raising awareness is a really important thing. It's a powerful tool. It educates people about something that they've never heard of it. And it forces people to also bring change. It increases the chances on receiving an early diagnosis and more impactful treatment. It encourages others to support funding of the research or even passing legislation that will help fellow scleroderma patients.
Eva and Team Cole. Eva, I can recall a number of years ago, God bless you, you turned your hair teal for the Long Island Walk. And you've been very active in so many different parts of our mission, support group, fundraising, awareness. And this year, you became a graphic designer because of the t-shirts that you designed and won the competition there. So Eva, you're a super person. And as Eva talked about, she's a support group leader for Nassau Queens. And Nassau Queens and Zeba group in Manhattan has combined with the Long Island group, the Bergen County, New Jersey, and Northern New Jersey. And with the COVID world going on, they have a group, support group meeting every single month. And the different leaders take turns facilitating the meetings and bringing speakers and whatever. So super job, Eva, keep it up. And now we're going to move to Poughkeepsie and sclerovirus, and that's Antonetta's team. And Antonetta has been involved with us for, I'm going to say again, about 10 years, and has been a big part of the walk up at Poughkeepsie. Later on, we'll have Scott Cornell on, and I know Scott will recognize Antonetta for her work. Sclerovirus not only participates in the walk, but all year long they have events. Traditionally, they have a Sunday afternoon fundraising event at the Newburgh Brewery. I've had the opportunity to attend that, and I would say they have 50 baskets that they raffle off, and a good 150, 200 people show up, and the people in the area just love to do that. Antonetta will have 5 guys by her. She'll have a night where so much of the proceeds go to her, and they have a table set up to talk to people. So Antonetta, you're a hero. Thank you. Take it away.
My name is Ann Kiaki, and I joined the Scleroderma Poughkeepsie Walk back in 2010. I had developed scleroderma in 2005 and progressed very quickly. With that said, I wanted to see if there were other avenues that I could join to help others raise awareness to scleroderma, because when I found out, I had heard about it, but I didn't know what scleroderma actually was. And I happened to see a article about the walk in Poughkeepsie, so I decided to join that. I have done that for, gosh, this is our 10th, 11th year with the Poughkeepsie Walk. And we also did last year some virtual type fundraising through Facebook, Instagram, Messenger. What we did was we did some videos through YouTube and some Facebook Lives to raise dollars and awareness. A lot of folks didn't know what scleroderma was. Because of COVID, it made it difficult for folks to be able to meet in person. My team, Team Sclerevivers, each year holds a fundraiser at the Newburgh Brewery to raise awareness. And we've been unable to do that for the past few years, but we're really hoping that next year we'll be able to at least do that again to continue to raise awareness for scleroderma. I think it's real important that folks know what scleroderma is, and the only way to really do that is through awareness, especially with Facebook. Facebook, all the social media type avenues reach a lot of folks out there. So hoping that this year we'll be able to continue to do that, and then that next year we'll be able to meet again with our fellow colleagues and support folks to be able to continue to raise awareness at our walk in Poughkeepsie. I'm hoping that folks watching this today will be able to maybe donate to our Stepping Out Walk.cure or .org, sorry, steppingoutwalk.org. Our team is Team Sclerevivers. We would really appreciate it and hope that your donations will help us find a cure for scleroderma and continued research and continued awareness for our cause.
Thank you, Antoinetta, and your team, Sclerevivers, for helping spread scleroderma awareness in your community. I know in the past you've definitely utilized those third-party fundraisers to help ramp up your walk event. And I want to say thank you for helping spread scleroderma awareness. Now, if you'd like to donate to Sclerevivers or any other team within the Poughkeepsie Walk, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and click on Poughkeepsie. Now let's check in with a team over in Rochester, New York. Forever Friends. Their team captain, Marilyn Sibley, serves in various roles as a walk committee chair leader, a support group leader for the Rochester community, and also serves as part of our Tri-State chapter board. So please welcome Marilyn Sibley.
Sure. I can't believe it's actually here. It's a long time coming, but we're excited here in Rochester. So first of all, a little bit about the Rochester Walk. We've been in existence as of this year for 18 years. And the walk was established by my sister, my deceased sister, Rosa Johnson, and a group of dedicated volunteers and friends. So we're working hard here in this neck of the woods to carry on her legacy. So yes, we are excited that June Scleroderma Awareness Month is here and the walk period is here. This year we have a total of 9 teams, which consists of Forever Friends team, which was Rosa's team. Myself and my niece Janita are heading up that team. What we've done this year, since I'm doing a dual role as chairperson of the Rochester Walk, we're focusing not just on the overall teams, but doing a lot, trying to engage the community, trying to engage our sponsors, trying to engage some of our past participants. Sometimes, they drop off, and so we're reaching out so that we have a strong emphasis this year of reaching out to everybody to try to get them involved, especially since we've been isolated for 2 years in regards to the virus. The challenge that we have for the Forever Friends team is I've asked them to reach out and do a 2 to 3 minute video and send it out there on Facebook to let them know what the Forever Friends team is doing. But I've also expanded that to the other teams here in Rochester, trying to encourage them to do the same thing. It's an opportunity for us to not only showcase what's happening on the day of the walk, but it's also an opportunity to advocate for scleroderma and also educate the Rochester community about this life-altering disease. So I'm trying to really engage them to get out there, do the video, and put it out there on Facebook. Some of the other things that the Forever Friends team is going to be doing is a garage sale. Yeah, a lot of that stuff has been cluttered in the attics, for the past year or two. So we're sorting things out, and we're going to be actually doing a garage sale. All the proceeds from that garage sale for the Forever Friends team is going to go to the Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma walk. So that's what we're doing, and we're kind of excited to get it going.
Thank you, Marilyn. I remember going to the Rochester Walk in 2019 and saw firsthand the passion behind the walk. You and your team of volunteers definitely stepped up to the plate. Now, reflecting back, I also remember a memory board. It was something that the Rochester Walk Committee was doing, and I want to know, are you guys planning on doing that again this year?
Yes, we're still going to honor those that have lost their battle to scleroderma. It's something that we have done, again, something that Rosa came up with and thought it would be important that we recognize those that have lent their support over the years to the walk and participated in our support group. So we would not be remiss not to take an opportunity to honor those individuals that have lost their battle. So this year we have 2, we call them angels. We have 2 angels to add to our memory board this year. And we want their families to know that they are a part of us and, that we're not going to forget them.
Thank you for doing that. In a moment, we'll be recognizing our angels throughout the tri-state region, as we did last year. It is important, as you said, Marilyn, that we recognize those who have lost their battle so that others, such as ourselves, can stand in the gap and fight for them. One thing that we do here at the Tri-State chapter is host support groups. Now, the National Foundation, Scleroderma Foundation, has created a virtual group called BIPOC. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Over the years, the Rochester Scleroderma Support Group has, as a collective group, worked together to establish various goals for the year, short-term goals and long-term goals. Some of the things that we've been able to accomplish is working together to help bring Dr. Benjamin Corman to the Rochester community. That was one of the goals that Rosa had, and we are thankful that we were able to achieve that with her and other patients' support. And another thing, of course, is the annual Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma walk. That's something that she wanted us to remain focused on and continually prepare ourselves for every year, because she, as well as the members, knew the value of raising funds for scleroderma. We have lost many angels. However, we know through raising funds that would help determine the research dollars that are needed to help to find a cure. So we hopefully one day we won't have to raise the money, because we will have enough out there from our government through advocating and supporting to make sure we got the money. So the other thing that Rosa was hoping to do was to encourage the Scleroderma Foundation to establish a support group for people of color. And the reason behind that is because I don't know how many people know, but people of color are impacted more, I want to say, in a more aggressive way. Scleroderma affects them in a more aggressive way. So therefore, we felt that it's necessary to make sure that we highlight that and give an opportunity or a platform for those that have been impacted in this way, especially people of color, to have a platform to sit down and discuss some of the things they're going through versus the regular support groups. So bottom line, May 2nd, we were able to implement that. The National Scleroderma Foundation, with the support of 6 facilitators from across the United States, have worked together since last year, August. And this past May, we were able to host our first BIPOC meeting. And we're bringing in doctors and various therapists and individuals to talk to the people that are participating in this group. Now, mind you, this group is open to anyone that wants to participate, but most of the topics are going to be relative for people of color to help them in their daily walk and coping with scleroderma. Even though we're excited about the Rochester Walk and all the walks that are going to take place throughout Tri-State, we're just excited to make sure that we do what we need to do to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our members and their families. So those of you that are out there that haven't registered, please go register. Those that want to get out there and do something individually, we encourage you to do that. The goal is to make sure that we're supporting those that need our help. We want to let them know that they're not alone. So go do your part.
Thank you, Marilyn. I know that you and Forever Friends and all of the Rochester community is excited for today. You guys have all spread scleroderma awareness in various aspects, from third-party fundraisers to Facebook fundraisers, to even sharing information to the medical community. So we want to say thank you so very much. Now, if you would like to donate to Forever Friends or any other team that's part of the Rochester community, you could go to steppingout.org and click on Rochester. Now, last year, we created a video to let everybody know that we are recognizing our fallen angels, as Marilyn pointed out earlier in the show. We are going to give this opportunity to do the same thing this year. Now, through the event leading up to it, we had a third-party fundraiser that was done on Facebook in memory of a fallen angel. 7 years ago, Monica Johnson's mother passed away from scleroderma, and this year we reached out to her to be able to showcase something that was instilled in her by her mother, a talent, and she would like to play for us today. During her performance, we will be sharing our fallen angels. So please, without further ado, welcome Monica Johnson.
Hi, I'm Monica, and I guess you can call me a Jill of all trades. I work in advertising.
Monica's also a fellow rep, but she actually comes from an agency background. She was a producer.
I manage my own makeup business. I love to cook, sing, dance, design, and of course, I love life. Hey guys, good morning. It's Thursday, May 21st. Week 10 of quarantine. I figured I'd get my piano tune and I'd start practicing again, something that I loved to do when I was growing up. So, hope you enjoy this. The pandemic forced so many of us to refocus our energies into other hobbies and passions. while trying to maintain our own sanity. And the piano for me was a way of escaping and healing. Music has always run in my family. My mom and both my grandmothers used to play, and now they've passed that torch on to me. My mom, who's always been a source of inspiration for me, passed away from a debilitating disease that not too many people know about called scleroderma, which she had my entire life.
Sometimes we forget to express the love and gratitude we feel for the most important people in our lives.
In spite of all the challenges she endured, she prevailed. And she didn't let her diagnosis define who she was. She kept her faith strong, and after being told she could never have children, her 17-year prayer was answered when she became pregnant with me. So, after a lot of encouragement, I decided to host a virtual recital. And a week after the recital, I was in the recording studio curating an entire album that no one knew anything about. Discipline, determination, consistency, faith, focus, and patience were all the ingredients that got me to where I am today in my musical journey. You may not see the results immediately, but if you consistently keep showing up, those results will show and pay off in a big way. Without the pandemic, I would never have connected back to my musical roots the way that I did while being in lockdown. Through so much darkness, healing and light were found.
Thank you, Monica, for that lovely tribute of your mother, and that you were following in her footsteps and her wishes of taking up music at this part of your life. It's a wonderful legacy to go forward. And in a number of our walks, we have people who are walking in memory of a loved one. Obviously, that's my situation with my wife and my mother-in-law passing, but I can recall a number of other people that they're there to keep the memory of their family member alive, and to help the organization so that others who are diagnosed today or maybe diagnosed in the future won't have to go down that path and that difficult journey that we all experience. So it's a tribute to your mom, and we hope that you continue to get involved with us as we go. So we thank you very much, Monica. It was lovely. And now we're going to go to the Manhattan Walk. Satine and her angels, and Satine and Jeffrey. Jeffrey is on our board, and he'll tell you a little bit more about that in the talk coming up. But we have a healthy competition at the Manhattan Walk every year with Satine and her angels and Team Cowan. And Satine and her angels have knocked it out of the park in Manhattan a couple of times, and we really appreciate that. They're very passionate. Their family is very passionate. They've had some of their own events. They have to feed all their friends for coming to the walk, so they've had a couple of backyard barbecues and whatever. So we appreciate and have plenty of gratitude for all that you've done. Satine, you're a hero. You're a patient that's always positive, always out there helping others. And Jeffrey, your support is without question unbelievable. So thank you. Take it away.
So, okay, so hi, my name is Satine. I can tell you that in 2012 is when I first got diagnosed with scleroderma. Doctors confirmed my diagnosis, and it's when I started reaching out and find out more about my illness, something that it was new to me. And so I found out that Scleroderma had a support group meeting, which I attended. And so it's where I found out that they were going to the Scleroderma walk. And that's 2013. Jeffrey and I joined our first Scleroderma walk. And we were able to meet doctors, many people with my same illness, something that, it was new to me. And that's basically how we got kind of like introduced ourselves in the Scleroderma walk. Also, right there and then is when we started to raise awareness for all the people to know more about the illness. We started raising funds, and maybe Jeffrey can tell you a little bit more about it because he got asked to join the Tri-State chapter board.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, everyone? So when Satine was first diagnosed with scleroderma, she went down to about 90 pounds. She was quite ill for some time. Herself, the family, everyone was pretty scared as to kind of what would happen to her. We weren't sure, if she would, live, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. One thing was pretty clear that, she needed a lot of support from her family. And, we needed to try to find, good doctors. So as we looked around, we were able to identify the Long Island chapter of Scleroderma. She began attending the meetings there. Before attending the meeting, she was really hesitant. I think partly because, in doing our internet research, it was pretty evident that the illness can be pretty severe. And, a lot of the, hand and facial, kind of long-term effects of scleroderma can be, pretty scary, So for a while, she was really hesitant on going. But, when she went, she saw that scleroderma patients, range, with the illness. And at the same time, she was able to sort of learn about a lot of doctors and folks who kind of were specialists, not necessarily only in lupus and other things she was kind of dealing with, but specifically in scleroderma. At those meetings, several of the patients at the meetings spoke about Dr. Spira and spoke highly of both Harry and Robert Spira, and spoke about their compassion for patients, and that there were two individuals who were really focused on the illness, and not only on the illness but also on patient care. So with when time passed, we eventually went to see Dr. Spira. And it was pretty evident after looking at her files that her condition was really serious. And the fortunate part was that Dr. Spira had a phenomenal team of other doctors at hospitals of special surgery, in collaboration with New York Presbyterian. And so from our very first visit, Dr. Spira sent Satine directly to see Dr. Sobel, Irina Sobel, over at New York Presbyterian. And then, the healing really began. Satine really began to improve. She went from 90 pounds to where she is today, a lot healthier. Besides Dr. Sobel and Dr. Spira, there are a phenomenal group of doctors there, from her cardiologist to her gastro doctor, to her dermatologist, to her primary care physician. Collectively, they've continued to sort of stay on top of her case, make sure that she gets the attention that she needs. In that process, Dr. Spira also spoke about all the wonderful things that were being done by the Scleroderma Foundation. When we first walked in 2012, we were one of the top fundraising teams. We continued to participate year over year, with the generosity and support of my colleagues over at Citigroup and friends, throughout New York City and in other states. And Satine's family, we continue to be one of the top fundraising teams for several years continuously. In that process, Bruce Cohen, who at the time was the president of the New York, or the tri-state chapter of Scleroderma, they were looking for other board members. And so during one of the walks, Bruce approached me and asked if I would consider joining the board, and or consider applying for the board, and I did. And so I met with the other board members. This is probably about 4 years ago now. And so I've been on the board now for the last 4+ years. And so we've continued to do a lot of work for the chapter. Satine and I, we've done different kind of events. Some of the events sort of in our own home. We did a barbecue fundraiser several years ago. Last year, we did a kind of awareness event in the backyard where we kind of all dressed up and took pictures and shared them on social media through Instagram and some other avenues. Everywhere I go, I typically speak about Scleroderma to folks, related to my girlfriend, and then also the volunteer work I do on the board. And I'm often surprised as to how many folks have actually heard about the illness, whether a direct family member or other folks, and so typically I refer them to the website if they haven't heard about it, and even when just about a week ago we were in Massachusetts visiting my brother, and the waitress that at the one of the diners that we went to. I spoke about Satine's condition, and she actually spoke about her daughter who dealt with what appeared to be possibly like Raynaud or something like that. She dealt with a lot of cold issues and things like that, and I had a Scleroderma card on me, and I gave it to her. And so because it seems like she thinks her daughter has been misdiagnosed now for a long time, so that was a possible avenue for her to sort of explore, see. Maybe she can be tested for Scleroderma or something in the family of Scleroderma. So, once again, awareness is for us, something constant that we're always doing with folks. There are so many different ways, especially now through social media, that you can talk about it, whether in your direct page or as I mentioned earlier, the barbecue that we did where we took pictures and we put signs together, and we'd like to do the same thing this year, for our own, direct circles, and then hopefully they'll also spread that along to other people as well.
Thank you, Satine and Jeffrey. You guys are fantastic. And a great description of all the things that we do together. And thank you for the kind words. And now we're going to drive about an hour north from Manhattan, and we're going to come to Poughkeepsie. Scott Cornell has been the leader with his sister, Carolyn, of Team Val. And I'll let Scott tell you his story now.
Oh, okay. All righty. My name is Scott Cornell. I am the team captain of Team Val. And we are entering our 15th year, I believe, of the Poughkeepsie Scleroderma Walk. The way we got started is my mom, Val Niles, she passed away from scleroderma in 2002. And we probably should have been doing these walks with her. That would have been nice. But after she passed away, my grandparents found some walks in Connecticut to do. We started in West Hartford, then we went to Stamford, and then a good friend of mine, his mom, Karen, who happened to be my mom's friend and my old babysitter, she said, well, why don't we just maybe do a walk here? There's walks north of us in Albany and Rochester. There's walks south of us in Westchester and the city. So why don't we split it and try to do one at Poughkeepsie? We thought Vassar College was a great spot. It's a pretty short walk around the campus, and it's a beautiful campus. So we had Karen, who was kind of our spearheader at the time, contacted Alex Matich from the Tri-State Foundation, and he told us what we had to do to get going. And a couple years after she passed away, we got the Poughkeepsie Walk going. And that's kind of the way the Poughkeepsie Walk came to be. That's kind of the way Team Val came to be. And the Poughkeepsie Walk started with just a few teams. Molly's Angels, Sclerovivors was a small team at the time. They're much bigger now. So I'd be remiss to not mention those teams. Along the way, we've had teams like Team Kirsten. We've had teams like Walking for Fish join us. OC Support Group. Team Terry was with us for a long time when we started. So many teams, so many people that we've met along the way through the Poughkeepsie Walk. I'm leaving so many people out, and that's terrible, and I'm sorry about that. But and the way I look at the walk now is, yeah, Team Val got it going and got it started, but it's not Team Val's walk anymore. It's a walk shared by so many teams and so many people. And we've passed the baton to teams like Sclerovivors, who are just amazing online donators. And what Antoinette does in May at the Newburgh Brewery, she's taken the walk and expanded it to something more for fundraising and awareness events. And what she does there is just an amazing event, with raffles and donations and getting people together again, not just once a year, but now twice a year. And her online donations are amazing. Their online donations are amazing. And it wouldn't be fair to, Molly's Angels the past couple of years. I don't think we've seen much money come from them, but when it's walk time, man, they show up with a lot of cash, and their donations are amazing. So that's how I view the Poughkeepsie Walk. Now it's everybody's walk, and we have a great time getting together and doing what we do. As far as how we're doing this year, Team Val got off to a slow start, but just because, COVID and a couple of life changes. So, but Team Val's off to a slow start this year, but everybody else I know is helping out. I know we finally got us going here. In the past, I know the walk over the past probably 15 years has raised, I know, well over 100,000 miles. And I think that's truly amazing as one of the probably smaller walks that we have. Just what we do to spread the word about scleroderma. And I mean, when you talk to people about scleroderma, sometimes, as far as the awareness aspect goes, you talk to people about it sometimes and they can't even pronounce the word. So to let them know about it, what we need to do to help fight it, what we need to do to raise awareness for it, these walks and the works that Alex and Jay Peak and Bruce and you, Candace, have put into this every single year. And it's definitely making a difference in the past 15 plus years, I'll say 25 years that I've been around scleroderma. So I just can't wait to, these virtual walks are great. The work you guys put into them is absolutely amazing, but I can't wait to get in person again and do these the way we do them, and see everybody again in person. And I know we're getting there. We're getting there soon. Well, I'm hoping for next year to get all the teams back together. And I'm sorry for the teams that I left out. I know there's so many more of you, but I can't wait to see you all in person next year. I'm sorry you got to be looking at my mug on the walk, on the virtual walk right now, but it's going to be great when we all get back together again next year, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So thank you to everyone who donates. Thank you to everyone who participates in the walk every year. All the teams that come out, all the teams that have come out in the past. You know, we'll see you again. And again, many thanks to everyone that helps with these scleroderma walks throughout the tri-state region. This foundation does a fantastic job. So thank you to everyone for all your hard work.
Thank you, Scott. In 2019, I remember that I got an opportunity to meet you and your sister and all the volunteers of the Poughkeepsie Walk. You guys did an awesome job creating scleroderma awareness within the community. So if you would like to support Team Val or any of the walkers and part of the Poughkeepsie Walk, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and donate for them today. Now, reflecting back, I started with the organization in 2016. As a new employee for the organization, I didn't have a basic understanding of scleroderma. I walked in not knowing exactly what it was about. I knew it was an autoimmune disease, but that's about as far as I got. Over the years, I've added to the knowledge and know that it is a disease that can debilitate a lot of different people, depending on the person and how the disease affects them. In 2019, I had the opportunity to step up and become the fundraising manager. While preparing for the events that happened in June of 2019, I got a phone call from my aunt. She wanted to invite me to my cousin's wedding on June 29th, World Scleroderma Day. And unfortunately, I had to respond to her and tell her, I'm sorry, but I can't attend. I'll be in Hartford, Connecticut at the Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma Walk. And she pretty much said, stop. Now at the time I was like, okay, she's a little upset with me. I thought, okay, I'm not going to a family event. I'm sorry, but there's other things that are more pressing. That's more important at the time. And she goes, no, it's because you said it right. Now, I didn't click it at that given time thinking, what do you mean I said it right? But when she turned around, she said, no, you said scleroderma right. And I'm like, well, how do you know about scleroderma? And she goes, you don't know? I go, no, what? She says, I have scleroderma. So in 2019, it became evident that I had a family member afflicted with this disease. She informed me that she has limited scleroderma or crest. And I didn't put two and two together. I knew she had Raynaud's and I knew that she was dealing with GI issues, but didn't even think to go, okay, maybe she has scleroderma. But now that I've been with the organization and I started off not knowing much about it, now I have passion behind it. I have a reason behind it. And as you've heard from many other people that have spoken before me, you know, we all have passion. And one individual that has passion for the organization has been working as our executive director for the past 4.5 years is Bruce Cowan. He's been instrumental in various avenues. He's definitely worked as part of our board, been a VP, vice president of our board, been president of the board. He's been served on the national board as well. And he's gonna be someone that it's gonna be hard to follow as the executive director, but I know that everything that he's done and he's implemented over the years has created a legacy for others to follow. So without further ado, please welcome Bruce Cowan.
Thank you, Candace. And I'm really pleased to be able to talk about Team Cowan here towards the end of our event today. So how did Team Cowan get started? My wife was a patient in the early 90s to start with. Unfortunately, Pat has systemic sclerosis, scleroderma, that impacts the internal parts of your body. And she had a 8-year journey with a lot of ups and downs. And unfortunately, on June 22nd, 2000, Pat passed away. We were involved in the chapter, think about it, back in the 90s. We got things in the mail, no internet really going on or what have you. So we went to support groups. Betty and John Lockwood had one in Teaneck, New Jersey. We went to a national conference in Houston. I think it was in '98. And so after Pat passed away, my 12-year-old son and 15-year-old daughter and I were just kind of getting our lives back in some sort of way to go forward. So in the spring of 2002, we got a letter from the chapter. The office at that point was located in Teaneck, New Jersey, before it came to Binghamton. And it was saying they're going to have their first ever walk in the park. I still have the t-shirt, believe it or not. And I said to Lindsay and John, we should do this. Mom passed away in June. Let's go there. And we gathered some friends and family, and we went to the walk, and I met a number of patients. Rosemary, who was the president of the board at that point, from Binghamton, came down for the walk. Amy was the one staff person, I guess they were called their executive director at that time. I remember my dear friend, Emily. And we walked, and we kind of got more involved, and a couple of things happened. My daughter's dance school put on a program, and the funds reverted to the Scleroderma Foundation, and I got invited to a board meeting, and at that board meeting, they said, would you like to join? And I said, I've been involved in my kids' sports activities and church activities and what have you, but I've never been involved in a nonprofit. I don't know where I can help out. So I got involved, and I helped us grow more walks as time went on, and our family and friends as Team Cowan kind of grew and grew and grew. We were associated with the New Jersey walk, but I was spending other Saturdays and Sundays in June helping out other walks. I think it was like 2006 that we started the walk in Manhattan. God bless Beverly Kaufman, a patient who organized that, and then we grew the New York walk. And then my daughter moved to Manhattan, and Lindsay got involved in the New York walk. So Team Cowan shifted to New York, and meaning Manhattan. And we kind of grew and grew and grew. And I could spend an hour thanking friends and family, kind of what Scott Cornell just did about Team Val. Scott's group and our group have a lot of parallels, and I really respect him, Scott, his sister Caroline, and the whole family for what they've done, and similar to what we've done. I've seen us as an organization grow. I've seen what we've been able to accomplish. And as I come to the end of my career here working in the office, I've been here for 4.5 years and was on the board for, I believe, 13 years before that. It's time for me to turn over the baton to someone else, to pass the torch, so to speak. And Candace, who you've seen on this program, is going to be the new executive director as I retire at the end of July and should take over. And Candace and the team will move forward, and I will find some new role for myself. I'm not sure what that is. And again, I wasn't sure I would be involved in this if I look back on my 40-something year work career, that I would be the executive director of the Scleroderma Foundation Tri-State chapter in the last chapter of my work career. But I enjoy what I've done here. I've met some phenomenal people, not just in our chapter, but throughout the whole country, going to conferences. And I've met some phenomenal doctors that are so dedicated to what they do to help ourselves, our patients, and whatever. So this is kind of Bruce Cowan signing off for now. I will be back. I will be back in a different way. I'm not sure. I need to get myself resettled after I retire. And I know I'll see a number of you. Looking forward to seeing some of you next year in person, because it really hurts that we haven't been in person, both at walks and support groups and the national conference. So take care.
Thank you, Bruce, and thank you for everyone that has stepped out in the Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma event this year. If you would like to donate to Team Cowan or any of the walkers that are participating in this year's event, please go to steppingoutwalk.org and click on the walk location you would like to support. If you would like to help spread scleroderma awareness as a walker, it's still not too late. You just have to call us at 800-867-0885 and we'll be gladly to assist you. This year, we held a silent auction. On our silent auction, we had various items from a cheese basket, Becker's Diamonds and Fine Jewelry gift certificate, Brooks Barbecue gift cards, Olive Garden gift card. We had a gourmet basket, Regal Cinemas, Crossgates Mall tickets, wine basket, and various other items. The winners of these silent auction items will be listed in our chat, so please take a look at that. We will be contacting all of our winners via email and making a social media post next week. We appreciate all your help and support for each of the walks through the silent auction. We want to say thank you to all of our donors who contributed items for the silent auction as well. We would like to also thank all of our teams who participated in this year's walk. We would like to recognize all of our teams from Albany, Binghamton, Buffalo, Long Island, Manhattan, New Haven, Poughkeepsie, Ridgefield Park, Rochester, Syracuse, and Westchester. Please enjoy the next few minutes as we recognize all of our teams.
Every year at our walks, we recognize 3 different categories: the team with the most participants, the team that raised the most funds, and the top performer. This year in Albany, New York, our team with the most participants is Team Mayville and Rena. Congratulations, everybody in chat. If you could use chat emojis and congratulate them and everybody else, that'd be wonderful. Our top team for the Albany, New York is Nancy Jean's team. Congratulations and thank you for all that you do over the years. Now, our top performer and our top fundraiser for this year in Albany, New York is Nancy Sokol. Thank you so much for doing all that you've done in the Albany, New York walk. We would like to now recognize our Binghamton Awards team with the most participants for the Binghamton walk is, remember to use those congratulations emojis, Connie's Crusaders. Thank you everyone for doing an awesome job for Connie's Crusaders. And our top team is Rosie's Bud. Thank you, Rosemary, and everybody at Rosie's Bud. Fundraiser for this year's walk is Welch. Thank you, Jill, and everyone else that has performed awesome at the Binghamton, New York virtual walk. Now, this year in our Buffalo Awards, go to one for most participants. Is Geetson Scleroderma Squad. Congratulations. Buffalo being New York, being a very small walk, also has our top team. So Geetson Scleroderma Squad. Now to end up with a trifecta, to be able to the trifecta, they have to get all 3 awards. And our top fundraiser is their team captain, Amy Geetson. Thank you, Amy, and your team for doing an awesome job to spread scleroderma awareness this year. We would like to recognize our Long Island awardees. The team with the most participants Walking Warriors. Thank you, Dina. And our top team for the Long Island Walk this year is Team Cole. Congratulations. Our top performer for the Long Island is their team captain, Eva Marie Cole. Congratulations. Thank you, Eva. And thank you all for stepping out in the Long Island. Now we would like to recognize our Manhattan Awards. The team with the most participants for this year's walk is Team Cowan. Congratulations. Team that raised the most money for this year, and I believe it was because he challenged his team to step up. Team Cowan, thank you guys for doing an awesome job with the fundraiser and ending up with the trifecta. Their team captain and our executive director, Bruce Cowan. Thank you, Bruce, for everything you've done over the past 20 years. I'd like to recognize New Haven, the team with the most participants. Congratulations, Team Lisa and their team captain, Lisa Spiegel. Team for New Haven, Connecticut. Italian Stallions, congratulations. And the top fundraiser for New is Italian Stallions team captain, Mary Contadino. Congratulations to all our winners. And thank you guys for stepping out in the New Haven. We would like to recognize our Poughkeepsie Awards. The most participants. Support group, congratulations. Team that raised the most funds this year for the Poughkeepsie Walk. Sclerovivers, congratulations. The Poughkeepsie Walk for the top fundraiser is none other than Antoinetta Kiak. To all of our winners for the Poughkeepsie Walk. We would like to recognize our Ridgefield Park awardees. The team with the most participants for this year's virtual Scleroderma Squashers, congratulations. The top team for the Ridgefield Park Walk is Team Krieger, congratulations. And the top fundraiser for this year's Ridgefield Park Virtual Walk is none other than the team captain of Team Krieger, Mark. Thank you guys for doing an awesome job in this year's virtual event. We would like to recognize our Rochester awardees. For the team that had the most participants, Walkers for Wanda. Congratulations. And our top team this year's event, Rochester, New York, is I Love K. Congratulations. And thank you guys for doing an awesome job. And our top fundraiser for this year, Valentine. Congratulations to all of our Rochester awardees. Now we would like to recognize our Syracuse award. The team with the most participants. That raised the most funds for the Syracuse Walk. Sure. And for our top fundraiser, and we want to say thank you for stepping out in this year's Syracuse virtual walk. Thank you all for doing a wonderful job in the Syracuse, New York walk. Now we would like to recognize our Westchester award. The team with the most participants for the Westchester walk is Alexandra Co. And our top fundraising team for this year's virtual event in Westchester, New York is Adrian's Network. Thank you so much, Adrian's Network, for helping spread scleroderma. And our final top fundraiser for this year's event in Westchester, New York is Adrian Shore. Congratulations to all of our winners.